Hello everyone and welcome back to the Villarreal series here on FM22 after what was definitely a very disappointing episode last time out, losing in the Champions League, being knocked out down to the Europa League, but we did have a January transfer window coming up and I'd like to think we've bounced back quite well. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Villarreal series. As I mentioned, we've got a January transfer window to look forward to, as well as our first Europa League knockout game where we're facing Olympiakos. You can see here we beat them 1-0 in the home leg, but it was certainly not convincing. The league is going okay, I guess. There's a few things we need to cover before we get into the transfers. But first of all, as you guys have been supporting the channel so much, we've got more subscribers in the most recent month because of this and a couple of the rebuilds that we've done than we have for months and months. And considering Football Manager's been out for quite a while, I really appreciate that. If we can keep it up and smash the like button, I'd greatly appreciate it. I mean, it's there, you hit it, you forget about it. It means a lot to me. Doesn't mean too much to you, but it does help out a lot. Comment down below if you want to get involved with absolutely anything. Join the Discord if you want to have more regular conversations with other Football Manager players, whether it's sharing your save tactic, getting advice, whatever it might be. And finally, if you haven't already, subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Getting very close to 8,000. That would be awesome if we can get there. Also, a quick side note, whilst we're actually looking at the schedule here, whilst you take it in, I've started to get my first offers of sponsorships on the channel. Now, a few of them that I've looked at so far, I haven't been too keen on, but who knows where it will go. So it's just cool that we are getting to that stage where that might be something that might actually potentially happen one day in the future. It's a long way off yet, I'm sure, before we agree on one that's actually worthwhile. But yeah, it's pretty cool that we're getting to that stage. I've got to thank you guys for that. Anyway, Football Manager, how have we been doing on that? Well, you last saw us, was it the Shakhtar game? It was Pedrinho. Yes, right. This is the one where you last saw us. From there, we drew to Valencia in the league. You can see every other result. It's been okay. We actually looked like we were recovering for a little bit. Then we lost in the Spanish Cup, which I wasn't all that bothered about. Then we drew against Espanyol, beat Elche, and the league was going really well. Then recently, it started to dwindle out a little bit because we have played a lot of games in February. These away games that you'd class as winnable against Vigo and Mallorca, we've having to use the rotated side because of the Europa League matches, and therefore those games haven't gone so well. But still, we did pretty well in both. Just couldn't really find the end product, which seems to be an issue throughout the seasons. But we did make some transfers to try and fix that. So that is where we will start today's episode. You can see there was a transfer deal rejected for Gerard Moreno, who, despite some very poor form recently and now an injury, I think he's worth more than 22 million. Maybe we'll change our mind at the end of the season, but for right now, we need him. Another update that I should actually talk about before we get into the transfers, and that is that Moreno has been injured recently, but he was playing pretty much every game because Dia, who came back from injury only a few weeks later, broke his ankle and has been out for a few months now. It's really unfortunate, forced a lot of pressure onto Moreno, two very good striking options down the drain, and we are struggling in that department. So he did make some transfers, some of which you might have seen there, but let's start with the sales. I think that'll be the best place to go. Or should we start? You know what? Actually, we'll start with the transfer window beginning where we signed Xavi Simons from PSG for £500,000. He's not someone I think will set the world alight, but he's definitely someone that we can make a profit on. His contract was expiring at the end of the season. We agreed a deal, and then PSG had that little button where it said buy now for like 500 grand. And we thought, you know what? He'll be a decent squad player if we need him. We can develop him more at this club into what we want him to be. And who knows what we'll do with him in the future. I don't expect anything big, but he's definitely worth it for £500,000. On a similar note, Kennedy was running out of contract with Chelsea, and whilst he's definitely not a world-class player or anything along those lines, he is now our third choice winger / wing back. He covers a few areas, and he's another one where I think he's definitely worth the value of $800,000 that we paid for him to get him instantly from Chelsea instead of on a end of contract deal. I think we'll sell him on in a season or so for more than that, even if it's only for $1 million more. He's definitely worth the investment, and it's handy to have an extra player around in the team. In terms of sales, we did let Abora go to Dynamo Moscow for £2.1 million. He was one that hadn't played at all, so we let him go. Etienne Capoue went to Krasnodar for about £3 million. I'll definitely take that because he hasn't really played that much for us this year and wasn't amazing, and I think we've got better players in the squad. It was more just to get his wages off the books. So Capoue has left us. Albiol left for Shakhtar for £2.3 million. He's been around the club for a few years now, but we have decided to let him go. You'll see we loaned out Bas Dost as well, who wasn't actually at the club, so I'll tell you a little bit about that in a second. But we also sold our goalkeeper, Geronimo Rulli, to Dynamo Moscow because of a transfer development we'll talk about in a second. He was an immense keeper, and he's going to be immense for Moscow, but 12.25 million for him at his age was worth it, considering what we could do with that money to sign a player that we definitely shouldn't have been able to get our hands on. So let's get around to those transfers that we bought in, the big ones, the ones that actually meant something. Starting off with Dan Axel Zagadou, who joined from Borussia Dortmund. We of course play a three-at-the-back system, so having some good centre-back options is vital. And now we have a backup to Pau Torres in the left centre-back role. The guy was available for 6 million due to an end-of-contract thing. He wasn't willing to negotiate an end-of-contract deal until the end of the season, but I figured when everyone came in for him, we would not beat them because of the club that we are. So instead, we paid money now to get him in, and I think he's a great centre-back option. 6 million is a bargain, and he will be worth a lot more than that should we decide to sell him on. Another deal in a similar nature, where if we'd let his contract expire, we never would have got him, but if we offered a transfer fee, we were able to offer him a contract from that before other teams came in. Frank Kessie. We have signed Frank Kessie with Villarreal. Now, this guy cost me 80 million a couple years down the line in our Wolfsburg save, and he was immense for us then. He had a few injury problems, a few fitness issues, which we are seeing a little bit with Kessie so far, but he's a hard worker, a brilliant box-to-box midfielder, and there's arguably not many better we could get in this box-to-box role in the game of Football Manager. The 25-year-old Ivorian still has a lot of time until he really reaches his prime, and he's played for us so far, doing pretty well. Actually, he's the guy who scored the goal against Olympiakos. A screamer from a long way out in his second game. It was actually a volley. He's been very impressive, and I think that's a real transfer coup, particularly for £13.5 million. We could double, triple that if we sold him straight away, never mind when he gets into some good form with us at the club. There's a couple of signings here that weren't actually me. It was for the Villarreal C, B, F team. They've got so many teams down there. But one of the signings that was me was Bas Dost. Now, this was a very cheap signing that we bought in because of the fact that Dyer got injured and we needed someone for a few games. And I actually thought he was going to be our backup striker. But once I brought him in, I was kind of like, oh, why did I do that? £250,000? Wasn't so sure. We've loaned him out to Alaves, where he's going to play for a little bit, and hopefully we can at least make a profit on him. I don't expect him to be here next year. A bad decision on my end, because whilst he would have stayed at the team, we were able to get this guy on loan with an option to buy him in the future. Felix Afena-Gian, who is a striker for Roma in real life. It's where we got him from on loan. We're not paying too much. I mean, you can see it's a £91,000 loan fee. That's nothing. And he has an option in his contract, where is it, to buy for £10 million if we decide we want him. Not sure we'll go for it just yet, but as a striking option while Dyer is out and Moreno is out, we can have a look at this guy. If he turns out to be crap, we don't need him. If he turns out to be a young superstar, £10 million is a great deal. Mentally, very strong. Physically, very strong. Technically, lacking in a few areas, but he's got what he needs to be a good striker at a good level. My hope is, with him being around at the club for a while, we can get an accurate coach report on just how much potential he has in this save. Who knows what Felix Afena-Gian will turn into here at the club, but he is an option, and therefore we let Bas Dost go. The final big signing that we did make was Alejandro Francis, who was being raved about by my scouts. We bought him in from Zaragoza out in the second division, where he'd been playing okay. We bought him in for £7 million. He's one of the better younger Spanish players around, particularly in that defensive area. And whilst he could be a right back, we of course use a right wing back system, so he is going to be a wide centre back for us. We're trying to develop him into this role here, which I think we will get him to be a very good option in going forward. He provides good depth at the back. If you think about it, with Albiol and Borrego, we brought through Zagadou and Alejandro Francis, lowering the age of our squad, arguably upping the quality of our squad. I think that would be a good deal in the long term, and he's already worth a lot more than what we paid for him. So I think overall, that's been some very good business. We've got a player for the future in Jayan, Francis, and we've got some players for right now in Kessie and Zagadou. We've also got some decent squad options to fill the squad out in Kennedy and Xavi Simons, and we got rid of some of the older heads at the club who are on a lot of money. Overall, the transfer business has been pretty good, bringing in £90 million and spending more than that, but not by a really, really significant margin, and we have made our team a lot stronger. very happy with how it's going. Rosas was a player that we signed in the first transfer window, but I want to talk about him a little bit because he is developing at a crazy level right now, and he has gone from being a 2.5-star player to a 3-star, solid 3-star player who is almost a must-starting player for the club. And whilst I don't really trust the star ratings, he has played really well in that wing-back spot for a player that I considered good, but maybe not good in the attacking sense of the game. He has certainly proved me wrong, and he is a very good option now, and someone I'm sure will be using in this game against Olympiakos. So with that being said, let's pick our team for that match, and hopefully, for the first time in a few videos, we can actually get a win on camera, or at least go through. But you never know with this team. The amount of games we've had 3-4 XG and scored none is just getting beyond belief now. I haven't been FM'd this hard in so long, but recently it is happening very often. Starting in goal, we've got Andre Onana. Did I even talk about him? I didn't mention the fact that we bought Andre Onana. I completely forgot. Yes, Rudy went away for £12.5 million, and we bought in Andre Onana for £5.75 million, which is a bargain. It was the same situation as Kessie. He would have cost us 30-40 million, but his contract was running down. Now, even then, he would have chose Man United, Tottenham, whoever it is over us. However, because we approached him in January and offered a fee to Ajax, they were more likely to consider us as an option, and we were able to poach him, and we have got a very good goalkeeper who's younger than Rulli, actually a better goalkeeper than Rulli, and that is why we went ahead with that business, and I think that's a top draw signing. So we start off with the goalkeeper of Onana, a back three of Foyth, Ignacio and Pau Torres. I think we're shaping up really nicely now because we've got depth in every single area here now. Then we've got Rosas in that right wing back spot, Pedraza in left wing back because Grimaldo is currently out injured. A midfield two of Parejo and Kessie is a very strong one. Then we've got Chukwueze, Danjuma, and then Pino is playing up front. He can actually play that complete forward role to a decent level compared to some other players. Just for reference, Jayan is a very good advanced forward, but ask him to do a complete forward job and he's got absolutely nothing in his locker. So we're going to give it to Pino. We might change the tactic depending on how long these injuries last, but we'll give Pino a go, see what he can do. If it's a draw, I don't care. I just want to be in the next round of the Europa League. So I think we're good to go. Let's get into the match and hopefully this one turns out okay. There's actually some very good teams in the Europa League. When I was looking at the draw, there was no one that I actually thought I want them. Everyone looks half decent, and I don't think Olympiakos were an easy draw either in this first qualifying round, the first knockout round, should I say. But I do have faith in us. That first game, I didn't show the goal, but like I said, it was a Kessie goal from outside of the box. Rosas cut in, pulled the cross back, and Kessie volleyed home in only his second match for the club. We're having to be careful with his fitness because he's just came back from AFCON. We were missing Chukwueze, Mande, Jayan I think also went, maybe, I don't know. And Kessie, of course, was a player that was gone. But here we go, we're off in the game and it starts off with an Olympiakos highlight after only a minute and they're playing it round through that midfield part of their pitch. Like I say, in the first leg we definitely dominated, but we only managed to put one goal past them and we could have conceded a goal due to a free kick if I remember right, but overall we were definitely the better team. I wish we put another goal past them, but it's just not how we play currently. One goal seems to be our max, but here we go. We're building the ball up nicely, this is good. Pino coming inside, playing as that complete forward, linking up the play, finds Rosas. If he can put a good ball in here, we've got a chance. He pulls it wide, out to Parejo. Parejo back to Foyth. Foyth has got the ability to cross in this tactic if he wants to, but instead he plays a fancy pass to Parejo. Rosas tries to find Danjuma, it comes out. This is a long highlight. Kessie on the ball now to Parejo. I'm hoping them two will make a good midfield duo. And Chukwueze has a big chance after only a minute to put us a goal in the lead there on the night. I am actually going to turn up that highlight speed a little bit quicker because that felt very, very slow. But that was a great play from Pino. He was really interlinking with everyone there. He hasn't actually played that well recently, Pino. Maybe we'll find out this is the position that we should be playing him in. Or this would be big if we can get a goal here. Pedraza floats it in. It's headed away. Foyth back out to Pedraza. Onto Parejo. Speaking of Pedraza, him and Grimaldo challenged for that left wing back spot, but neither of them impressed me too much. If anything, Pedraza has been better, I feel. Grimaldo's kind of underwhelmed me. Compared to everyone else that we've signed, he is one that I think could have done better. Rosas, though, you can see how much of a threat he is starting to become on that right wing. Here's Chukwueze. Here's Kessie. He's got a long shot on him if he wants it, but he goes back. We retain possession. This is what I like to see. Away from home, we're still treating it like we're a home team, dominating the ball. We're creating chances as well. We just need to put one in the back of the net, which you've seen so far is definitely our issue. Chukwueze off both bloody posts. We cannot score in these videos, I'm telling you. I mean, we barely score off camera anymore. It's not like it used to be. But then on camera, we're getting so unlucky. Chukwueze has been in twice. One of the goals he should definitely have put in, and then that was out of nothing, and he gets so unlucky with it hitting both posts. Foyth to Chukwueze. Rosas finding so much space here. They're playing a 4-4-2 Olympiakos, and we are exploiting it to the maximum. Here's Rosas, finds Chukwueze. This could be the one. He just needs to square it. Goes back to Rosas. Danjuma. He puts it wide from a few yards out. And we're going to go again. Right, at least we're getting highlights, but I'm telling you, Olympiakos need one highlight to every 4 that we need to score a goal. Just get one and the floodgates were open, I'm sure. Here's Ignacio. To Kessie. That's how you bloody do it. This is why we bring in someone like Frank Kessie. He has single-handedly got us through this tie so far. 2 goals from similar positions, long shots from outside the box. He's given the ability in this tactic to pick up those kind of spaces. And when we are dominating possession like this, he will find these kind of areas. It's not the best shot in the world, but it's actually a little bit of a low-driven bullet. Quite hard to save for a few bodies, and he's put it into the corner, and he's instantly making himself a fan favourite here. And finally, we score on camera to take an actual lead, and it's a 2-0 advantage in the leg, in the tie, should I say. So I'm definitely happy with that. And I mentioned that the floodgates might open after 1 goal. I might be right because Pedraza is through. Finds Danjuma, back to Pedraza. Pino gets unlucky, a couple of blocks, and Olympiakos are going to try and counter, but I'm hoping we can thwart that quite quickly, but maybe not. They're still going. Why isn't this highlight ending? Please don't tell me Olympiakos are going to score with their first shot on camera. No, we've dealt with it. Right, that's that dealt with. But Olympiakos have had 28% possession and no shots. We've got a 1.72 XG. For everything that we've done, we've only got 1 shot on target, and that was Frank Kessie's effort. It just goes to show we're playing well, but we just need to add that little final element to the game. There's definitely a thing to be said about bringing in some more quality players, because you're seeing the difference that Kessie's made. If we can get that kind of impact all over the pitch, I'd be very happy. But I can't be bothered about this performance, to be fair, because I can't be bothered. I can't be angry about this performance. I can now. I was going to say we've played really well and never even let Olympiakos have a sniff. They've just taken 1 long shot out of nothing, and it's in past Onana. There's not much he could do about it, but that's infuriating. Dominating the game, 1 long ball up from a goal kick, 1 touch from a goalkeeper, touches it down, hits it hard. El Arabi scores, Olympiakos 1, Villarreal 1. I'm fuming. 0.13 XG they've got, and they've scored the same as we have. Come on, let's put another one past them. I want to win on the night. I don't care about the leg. The tie, sorry. I just want to win on the night so we can win on camera for the first time. Here's Parejo. 1-4. First time in a long time, should I say. We did win in those first couple of episodes. Rosas pulls it across. Jeremy Pino blocked. Parejo. Just give it to Kessie. I mean, it's the one thing we can probably do to score. Just give Kessie the ball and he probably hits it from long range. Go on. Chukwueze's through. Finish your dinner. Finish your chances. This is infuriating, man. It's almost beyond a joke at this point. Our XG, just from that highlight there, has probably gone a whole 1. Because Chukwueze's was a 1-on-1. Pino's was a 1-on-1. We're on 2.21 XG. 2.12, should I say. They're on 0.13. And it's 1-1. 12 shots, only 2 on target. It's embarrassing. How are we managing this? They're great chances. We're just not finishing. Here's Pedraza. And we're working it into the box again. Parejo hits it wide. Another shot. Another very good chance. We're on key highlights, by the way. These are classed as key highlights, and they're just not going in for us. I'm going to make some subs now to change something up, but we'll let this highlight happen first. Here's Jeremy Pino. Whips it in. Pau Torres into the arms of the Olympiakos goalkeeper. And the highlights continuing, which is worrying because we saw the last time he had the ball, he created a goal from 1 long kick. He's trying it again. Foyth deals with it, or half deals with it, because Oleg is now on the ball. Don't you dare make us concede. El Arabi, Suarez. It's happening. I'm telling you, they're about to score. El Arabi again. I just want to go home. Who is this guy? It's 2-2 in the bloody tie. I've just realised as well. It's not just on the night. He just scored 2 shots out of absolutely nothing. They've done nothing all game. They've taken 2 random shots and ended up scoring. I mean, how's he put that in the top corner? Someone tell me. There's nothing you can do about either of his goals. Who are you? Hold on. Who the bloody hell is this? It's close. Where can we find him? El Arabi. There we go. 35-year-old Moroccan poacher. I don't know. Guys. What can we do in this situation? 0.17 XG and they've scored twice. That is a joke. We've had 20 shots and scored once. 21 shots. I've never been FM'd so much on camera. We best finish off this match with a win. I don't care about a draw now. I said I'd take a draw at the start of this game, but we've played so well. I've got subs to make, but why would I make them? We're dominating. We're creating a load of chances. We've got to do better than this. And this is Olympiakos. Can you imagine when we actually play teams that, would be considered Europa League favourites? We're going to struggle. Here's Danjuma. Danjuma to Kessie. Kessie trying to take the game by the scruff of the neck, but he goes back to Ignacio. It's a great ball from him to Rosas. The one dangerous wing back from this game. Pedraza not so much so far. Chukwueze. Parejo. This should be a goal. There's space here, but he's gone back to Chukwueze. Parejo's in. Danjuma can't miss. I suppose he can when he's bloody offside, because I think they're about to disallow the goal, aren't they? Go on, just give it us. Give it us, game. What does it say? It says goal awarded. Right, it's behind my camera, but it does say goal awarded. I'm happy with that. We're going to make some changes now because we are currently going through. Pedraza, you're not having a good game and you are on a booking. Let's bring you off for Grimaldo, even if he's not fully fit. We'll take that. Danjuma, you can come off for who? Kennedy, I suppose. And then I'm going to save the others for now. We might end up getting extra time at this rate because away goals don't exist anymore, does it? 3.49 XG against 0.17 and you're telling me it's 2 I'm sorry, guys, if I sound like I'm raging, but how can... I swear, if they go and score. I swear. Onana, you'd best stand up tall. Right, job done. They ain't actually scored a shot for once. They've had a shot and it's not ended up in our goal. Who would have thought it, eh? Right, Kessie... You're coming off a Coquelin. I might regret that, but you and Parejo can come off. You've done well, but you're tired, and I don't want to kill you, even if it does go to extra time. But we have got a highlight. I'm just hoping it doesn't end with this in the Olympiakos goalkeeper's hands and then a counter. But we've done it, right. 2-2. Someone have a look at those statistics in this bottom left corner and tell me how that's 2-2. I am furious. I don't mind us scoring 2 goals from those chances. Yes, we should have scored a lot more, but in terms of XG... It's about right? The goals that we should have scored, we didn't, and then it came down to some long shots from Kessie to get us in the game. And then, Olympiakos, you're an embarrassment. 27% possession, 4 shots on target, 2-2, 0.37 XG. None of them should have got anywhere near the goal, but they've somehow done it. But I don't care. I'm very happy with through. It's something, but we still haven't won on... We're still not winning on camera. I don't understand it. What is our next few games looking like? Can we build up some momentum? Because I didn't actually speak about the league, did I? But I think the league, right? Looking at that, we can consider any kind of potential title challenge, which there's always a long shot. That's gone. I would expect if we can finish in this top 4, I'll take it. If we can finish above Valencia, that would be great because then you can say we're the best team outside of Barcelona and Real. But we're going to need some momentum to get us there. Winning our game in hand would mean we're only 2 points behind them. But we haven't particularly got easy games coming up. I still think we can get a lot of wins. But, Betis, Madrid, Barcelona, Sociedad, they're not easy games. Then we've got Real Madrid, Sevilla and Valencia to finish the season off. That could be a massive game, actually. But yeah, there's a lot to go through. Let's just hope we can keep everyone fit, keep everyone prepared, and then we can make some signings in the summer as well. But who knows? Maybe we'll win the Europa League at this rate. Once we learn how to score, we might be fine. But with that being said... That'll be the end of today's episode, guys. A ragey one, but we've made it through. Hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, smash the like button and I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.